Hello, we're here, we're live. Hello, can everyone see us? We look a little scuffed. Let me fix that.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
And welcome to another edition of Arguing About Wrestling.
Yay! Whoop, whoop, whoop. Oh, I need to change my name on Discord so that we're all in the right order. 1 second. That's an easy fix. Then, there we go. Now we're right way around. Okay, we're here. We're live. We're live in a new format on YouTube. No longer on our gaming Twitch channels, but on its own thing. You'll see right this week it's on my YouTube channel. From tomorrow, all previous episodes will be live. Will be on YouTube, and we will further then be live on YouTube every week. I think that all made sense.
Yes, it did.
Let's crack on. Let's crack on.
Made sense to me, and if it makes sense to me, it works.
No.
Right.
So, lots to talk about. There's lots of news going on. So go on, Frosty. You came.
Right. So there's two things, two bits of news I wanted to talk about. Do you remember last week? I think it was last week or the week before.
It would have been
must have been the week before because I mentioned about NXT originally moving to Tuesdays was due to the network deal that was going to be happening, and basically that looks like it's fallen through. So they moved to Tuesdays for no reason, apparently. And then the announcement now has been made that in January of 2022, AEW will be moving to TBS.
I hadn't seen this. This is brand new news to me. When did this come out?
So this was announced on May 19th. No, May 19th. No, sorry. Not May 19th. Yeah. So basically, announced the move to TBS from January 2022.
Okay.
There's going to be a new AEW Rampage TV show to premiere as well.
Okay.
So not only are you going to have Dark, you're going to have Rampage, and then you're also going to have Dynamite as well.
Ooh. Now, is TNT bigger than TBS? I don't know. I don't know American television.
TNT is their main sports channel,
Right.
like network, say, and that's about the. I think the deal is because the NHL, is it the hockey league, is moving to TNT.
Okay.
So, and then obviously they want to the same time as AEW, and obviously National Hockey League's going to bring more money in, I guess. So they've had to. Yeah, you'd hope. But so TBS is more their general programming, so like TV shows and stuff like that. So it's not really going to affect it in general. Like everyone's still going to hop over and watch it, I guess. But
TNT's meant to be like the premier channel.
Yeah. So
TBS is in more homes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And AEW's getting more money for this new deal.
Yeah.
And they're not going to get preempted like they would if they stayed on TNT.
So. Well, they're getting preempted next week, which is actually
Well, it also means that they will most likely have to move from Wednesdays to Tuesdays.
Ooh. I thought Dynamite was staying the same day.
No.
No.
No, because that's the thing. It's hockey's always on a Wednesday. So, yeah.
So AEW Rampage is set to debut in August.
Yeah.
And that's going to be on TNT. Is that moving as well, or is that staying on TNT?
Let me read through it.
I think it's on TNT, but it's going to be the Friday night show for an hour.
Yeah. So it's also revealed that a new TV show called AEW Rampage will premiere on Friday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. The 1-hour TNT show will premiere on Friday, August 13th. Well, that's a good Friday the 13th. That's a good omen. And Rampage will move to TBS with Dynamite in 2022.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so it will be moving to TBS. The Supercard event, which is AEW. All right, so this is the other thing. The Supercard events will still stay on TNT.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So Blood and Guts would still be on TNT.
Yeah, I assume so because TNT is their main sports premier channel. That's where everything happens. So I imagine it should change.
Okay, well that'll make it feel more special though. That'll make things. What's the other ones that they do? They do. It's like it's not Bash on the Beach. What's it called?
Yeah. It is Bash at the Beach. They got the name. Cody got the rights to it, didn't he?
Oh, is it Bash on the Beach? Okay, I just felt like it was a name that was a bit like it. Well, they've got those sorts of everything that's not their 4 main pay-per-views is like a supercard of Dynamite. But now if that's on TNT and then it's regularly on TBS, that'll make it feel a little more special. I don't think this is necessarily a bad thing.
No, I mean, at least it's far off. Like, at least they've got a whole year to, proper, like, advertise it. Get the, and make the move big so that everyone follows them over there. At least they've got enough time to do that. It's not like, oh, by the way, you're going now, and you've got no choice. But I just thought it was interesting that NXT move because obviously USA Network were fully like. Yeah. Expecting the deal, and then obviously they moved to Tuesdays for no reason, and then they're probably gonna have to face AEW again.
They're gonna have to move back. They're gonna have to move back to Wednesdays. That's gonna be funny.
Yeah. Well, because everyone claimed that obviously they moved to Tuesdays because of AEW beating them in the ratings, but the reality was that USA Network was in negotiations to do that, so
I think
it could have been a combination of both, but I do think but I do think the fact is USA Network can pretty much control WWE right now in terms of programming, so they just
Well,
they tell them where to go. Yeah,
them and Fox. Yeah. Between them.
That's what I'm saying. They control basically. First time that Vince has had a puppet, or like being a puppeteer now.
Well,
you got to listen to those networks.
Yeah. And he's firing more people than the old Vinnie Mac, sending more
Oh,
people
well,
packing.
that's the second part of wrestling news I wanted to talk to you
I
about,
thought
because
I'd
we've had
segue
several
into
more
that one.
releases. Yeah, thank you. Just so we've had several notable names actually being released.
Alexandra Wolf.
Yeah, Alexandra Wolf got released. So did Velveteen Dream. He recently got released as well.
Finally.
I'm not surprised with him because of all the troubles he brought with the accusations and stuff. I'm surprised he didn't go earlier, but hey, I'm guessing they want to properly investigate before they just get rid of
Oh, yeah,
people.
I'm sure that's why.
No. So, but we also had a few from Ronda Rousey's old clan group. You know, is it Duke?
Yes,
And
Duke.
yeah, Jessamine
Jessamine
Duke.
Duke,
And
yeah. Who never
I
really
don't know.
did anything.
Did,
So
did the other one get released as well? I don't know. I don't think she did. But there was several NXT names. Basically, it was mostly NXT names that got released, and that also the former NXT head got released as well. But that's because of his far right movements.
Oh yeah. The head referee Drake Wirtz, is it?
Well, former head, because he got dragged down because of his views. It made people very uncomfortable in the back, apparently, with his telling people off for wearing masks, for getting vaccinated, having general goals at them and stuff like that. And yeah, it made very people very uncomfortable. And in the end, they didn't. They made the right decision. They got rid of someone who obviously needs, some help. I would say some help. Yep. So that's the main part of the news over with on that. It's I just thought it'd be notable to bring it forward to the front.
Definitely the first bit is a big thing. The second
Yeah.
bit is like, who cares? Some jobbers
Yeah.
from WWE's 300
Well-
strong roster are no longer
Yeah.
picking up a paycheck.
Well, I was just thinking because I mean we'll get into NXT in a moment, but Velveteen Dream's a notable name to get rid of, especially with the current thing that's going on with NXT.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted to bring it up, because it was even though with his accusation, which I don't think went anywhere with it. I don't know. It never. It just went quiet.
The court of public opinion found him guilty. That's all I know.
Yeah,
remember.
But apart from that, obviously he's not been used since 2020. No, when was the last time he was used? December. He was used last used in December.
December 2020 or 2019?
Yeah.
Okay.
2020.
I remember him being a very, very good character and being really engaging.
Well. Yeah, he's athletically there as well. Like he was.
Yeah.
He had the potential to actually do something with it.
They didn't pull the trigger on him.
Well, I think they were stopped in their tracks because of the accusation. That I think they were just about to start.
Fair enough.
Moving him forward, and then suddenly that happened, and unfortunately, he just got a yanking by his collar and go, "Nope, you're off the stage now."
Doesn't it seem that if somebody gets too much of the NXT stink on them, they end up staying there though?
Yeah.
Like, Johnny Gargano.
Yeah.
Or Adam Cole at this point.
Ciampa. It's the same thing.
Pete Dunne, Ciampa. There's a ton of them.
Ciampa wanted to stay there though. He didn't want to go to Raw.
Well, that's what they
don't blame him, but yeah. but at some point, if you want a main event at WrestleMania, you can't do that from NXT.
Yeah.
If it feels like a bit of a cop out, if you're going to be at WWE but then want to stay in NXT, why aren't you running in the Indies? Why aren't you wrestling for Ring of Honor?
Well, that was the whole point. That was the whole point, wasn't it, of NXT, that they dragged them from the Indies so that they came to technically they're nearly there. The NXT was just to polish them in the WWE style, and then they would progress onto the main roster where they would hopefully become superstars.
Yeah.
But
it never really panned out that way. For the most part.
Well, I mean, there's only one or two you could really say that really, made it.
Yeah, there's a few that did transition quite well. So Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Baron Corbin.
Yeah. I mean, most notable probably
Big E.
Becky Lynch.
Becky Lynch.
came from NXT. Went,
but nobody in the last pretty much the last one I remember coming across that actually like stuck was probably Baron Corbin and Kevin Owens. They came across at roughly the same time.
Kevin Owens, obviously the bigger one, because obviously his rivalry with John Cena at the time was
but they've both been
US title.
They've both been upper carders for the whole time and in marquee matches, and obviously people don't particularly like Baron Corbin, but
yeah, I mean, who does?
And people have got their reasons for that, but ultimately, I mean, he's clearly carved out a good multi-year career at the top level.
Yeah.
So NXT this week then.
NXT, right? Let's get to the old notes. Let's get this through this quickly, so you guys don't have to suffer so much.
No, you're good. Go on.
All right, so we started off with Toni Storm versus Zoe Stark. Good, solid match to start off with. Actually, to be fair, it wasn't. Zoe Stark actually got some good offense in against Toni Storm, which is nice to see. It wasn't just Toni Storm just wrecking her around the ring and winning, and then that's the beginning of the show. Like, ooh,
Yeah.
It was. She won via pinfall. Toni Storm did in the end. But yeah, it was a very back and forth. It was a good match. But I gave it a C just because it was solid. It wasn't like best start.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll get to later on.
A C, solid.
In another show.
Not
yeah,
awful.
A C, solid. That's what I'm saying. There wasn't any bad spots in it at all. So you know what I mean. So, but it was a good start to the show. Good start. Then we had this was weird. The next bit, because we had Frankie Monet come out,
I like Frankie
but
Monet.
nothing came from it. Like she came out and then it cut to like an advert.
And then when they came back,
and there was nothing. It gone. So it was a really weird moment. I thought, well, what was the point of her coming out?
They're live TV, aren't they?
Yeah, they are live TV.
So did something go wrong? Did you look?
Well, she just stood there, and obviously they had the muttering to each other and that, but there was no like mic or anything from what I remember.
Right.
So it wasn't like a proper interaction. I just remember I was just thinking, oh, maybe they're going to the break and we'll come back and listen to Monet talk a load of stuff about a dog and how precious she is. I don't know. But yeah, it just came to nothing. I honestly thought it was like, did I miss something? So I had to rewind it. There's no. It was that's exactly how it happened.
I didn't hear about this.
Yeah. I don't think it was noteworthy because not a lot of people tuned in this week to. Well,
they went back the only thing I hear about NXT anymore. It's just nobody fucking watches it.
Well, they got back up to, I think it was over 700,000.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
Yeah, it's I mean, when you consider what they were doing 4 years ago, it's yeah. Right. So then we get to a cutscene where we see Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell talking shit about Loomis. Well, he's like they got the the cucumbers on their eyes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And he's like massaging like Indy's head. Well, and she's going, yeah, he's just such a loser, and all that type of stuff. You can just see him just like, and then just walks out the room. Just it was
strange.
it was strange, but at the same time,
Totally.
I found it. Yeah, it's just the way at the moment they're fantastically for comedy. Yeah, it was pretty funny. Then we had a basically the next 10 minutes or so was all like promos and videos and like cutscenes and stuff. It was really quite long. I felt that they could have done spread this over a bit more, but
fair enough.
We had a promo vid of Balor versus Cross, which actually looked amazing. It made me want to watch their fight coming up for Balor Cross 2. And yeah, that's the one thing you can't take away from WWE. They know how to package a fight and they know how to present it well. That's the only thing. I can't take that side away from them.
Yeah, but so does Logan Paul.
Yeah. Well, Logan Paul just takes someone's hat and then gets beaten up for it.
Yeah.
Oh no, that was his brother, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was his. Well, either way, one of the Logan twats do that. So.
But yeah, I'll give you that. They know how to package a fight. They don't know how to tell a
Yeah.
story anymore, but they can.
Yeah, they don't know how to tell a story, but the media lot in WWE know how to package a fight and make it look epic. So
yeah.
Then we had this one you'll like. Jake Atlas came back again for another week of wrestling against Cameron Grimes.
Okay. I hate Cameron Grimes with a passion.
I'm really beginning to hate him now because he did the before the match started, they did a thing with the $1 Million Man and showed like a video of him getting covered in stuff. I don't know. Anyway, he was getting covered in something, and he's doing that fake laughing. You know when it's sort of like, the pointing and laughing. That it was awful, and I just thought whoever did that, whoever gave the green light to that should have been shot straight away.
The whole gimmick's just.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind the gimmick, like, poor guy getting rich and going a bit crazy with it and stuff like that. But
that in itself, it's the execution of the gimmick then.
That's what I mean. It's the execution of the gimmick. So, someone's got to pull him to one side and just say, "Fucking rein it in a bit." Do you know what I mean? It comes across as cringy and horrible. It just
Every time I watch it, I feel insulted.
Saying that, it wasn't too bad. The match itself was back and forth, but it was just throughout the match, you're getting Grimes just being silly. That's the thing, and it puts me off watching the fight because of the fact of it's just him being a twat at the end of the day, and it just takes me out of that moment of trying to watch it. I mean, Grimes. I've put in my notes. Grimes could be very good. He could reach that, not top card, but that space between middle and so upper.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah. So he could reach that, but he needs more from what he's been given, and also needs someone there to just say, okay, this isn't working. Move on from it. Don't keep trying this shit. This. But so I gave the match a C- just because he kept putting me off with the silly crap that he was doing. But because the actual moves and everything that they were doing in the match wasn't bad. It was just that.
It was just. I mean, if it takes you out of the match, then it.
Yeah.
Then
that's what I mean.
It doesn't really matter what they're doing in the ring if they're doing stuff that.
And I can't even blame Jake Atlas because he was doing his part. He was doing his part. He was being the vanilla dude that has nothing. But
if you didn't constantly point out how vanilla, and I would forget his name every week, you'd be like,
yeah. But that's the thing. That's how vanilla he is. That he just if I didn't mention it, you wouldn't know he was in the show.
I would just ignore him. It'd be like a grey space in my mind.
Right, so we cut to a Pete Dunne interview. This was well done.
I love Pete Dunne.
He made it feel so real. Like he's just sat there going, I don't care who they put in front of me. I will beat them. I know I am better than they are. He said he said, okay, I may have lost a few in the past. Wins and losses don't really matter when I know I'm better than everyone else. But it just when it came across as genuine in the interview, that's what you want from your
wins
performer.
And losses don't matter. That's a Vince line. That is.
Yeah. And it just like I say, the interview was really well done, and it really did feel real. And it reminds me of MJF, like when he's not
That's some high praise, man.
no. Standard wise,
yeah.
MJF up here, Pete Dunne down here in terms of promo
I like Pete
ability. But what I meant in terms of like when you listen to MJF, you believe what he's saying.
Yes.
Like, that's what I'm saying. It's that same type of interview.
The same intensity, the same conviction.
The same intensity, yeah, exactly. He believes that he is the best person in NXT right now.
Probably because he actually is.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, but you know what I mean. It is that.
Yeah.
Alexander Wolf next versus Killian Dane, and we're still getting the teasing of, if oh god, I got NXT, not his NXT, is Impact name in my head. Rockstar Spud. I can't think of his NXT name.
Drake Maverick.
Drake Maverick. That's the one. Sorry, I got Rockstar Spud in my head.
Because he's still Rockstar. I can never say that word. Rockstar Spud. He just always will be. It's done.
Yeah. But yeah, so he got him not trusting Killian completely at the moment because he still thinks that Imperium are trying to, pull Killian over to their side, and he keeps coming out with lines like, "Look, I know what's going to happen. I'm going to try and tag you, and you're not going to be there, and I'm going to get beaten up, and then turns out you're going to give me a big boot or something." It's it's quite good like that. I like that. Yeah. Obviously, Alexander Wolf doing the jobbing here because obviously he's now gone. Bye-bye. So he lost. Obviously, it was a very quick squash match. It was over. It was. I couldn't even time it. It was. So you got a big German suplex to Dane from Wolf, which was nice. It actually looked, good. And then Killian Dane just fucking ran over him, basically. that was essentially the match.
Best luck on your future endeavors, kid.
Yeah, basically. So it ended quickly, and I gave it no grade because I don't give grades to squash matches.
Fair.
Then Imperium just attacked Alexander Wolf, and basically that's him out, not only of the crew but out of the building and out the company, and you're not going to get any payoff from them attacking Wolf. They couldn't.
They get a little bit of heat. They get a little bit of shine.
Yeah, they get a little bit of that, but yeah. So then we had. Oh God, I can never remember the name right, and I think I write it wrong every week. Elfin, but the Mexican group, Phantasmo.
Oh, Phantasmo.
Phantasmo. That group, that Mexican gang that's hanging around.
The ones that speak too much Spanish and then they say the same thing in English.
Versus Thatcher and Campa.
Mm-hmm.
Great match. All four men showing what they can do. Like, honestly, they really showed up in this. I really enjoyed this match. Finally saw some Crimson in NXT. Finally.
Ooh.
A pure accident, by the way.
Was it a hard way, yeah?
It basically, I think Thatcher, it basically punched one of the, I can't remember what the names are, but one of the Mexican dudes got smashed right in the face, so all his bloody nose just like, yeah. So, but we finally saw some Crimson, and it was purely accidental, but, it's nice to see a little bit every now and again. On the other show, we get it all the time, but...
I won't rise to that.
Here we only get a little bit.
I won't rise to that. Cheap trick.
It is when you're using a blade. You can see it in his face. It was a hard physical match. Raul Mendoza flying through the middle rope as well, hitting the ring post. Looks really nasty. Looks like he really went for it, which is good. It's what we want to see. We want to see proper contact and proper things that look like they actually really hurt, rather than people flying around and getting poked and acting like they got a gunshot wound or whatever. It was nice seeing that. But the Mexican dudes win. But I gave this grade of a B+ for me.
B+.
B+. Fair. It wasn't there. I couldn't give it an A or an A-, but it was on its way to going that way. That's what
So B+.
So I'd like to see. I'd like to see where the rivalry goes from here. Like, can they progress and make it into A, -+ whatever matches. Let's see where they go with it. Because I don't think they've interacted before, so I think that's pretty much their first match against each other together. So it's like you're not always going to have chemistry to start, but it was honestly a really good match, and so it's something worth watching for the future. I recommend it. Right, flying through this. Indy Hartwell. We got back to Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae back in the spa, and they're talking, and
so they've been in the spa the whole episode.
They've been in the spa on the whole episode, basically, and then it turns out that I think someone comes in like an assistant for Candice LeRae and says, "Oh, by the way, did you enjoy the flowers that I sent to basically got sent to Moon and Shotzi?" And so Indy's like, "Oh, does that mean that they weren't from Loomis?" And so she, finally learns the truth. And you think, "Oh, she's about to go," because she's like, "Candice, tell me the truth now. Tell me the truth." And then you think, "Like, come on, you got to slap her or something. There's got to be some, comeuppance for this."
Yeah.
And she goes, "Do you know what this means? He loves me." And just runs out the door, chasing. I don't know, looking for him.
Oh dear.
It's yeah. That's. I was really hoping for a slap or something, but we just progressed to Indy running out the door looking for Loomis now.
Yeah.
We didn't find out, by the way, by the end of the episode whether she did find him or not. But I'm guessing we'll find out next week on Love Triangle. Right, then we move on to Aaliyah, I want to say, versus Sarai. Aaliyah being part of the Robert Stone brand. That bollocks is back again. For some reason, Robert Stone was dressed like a pimp. I assume that Aaliyah and the other girl was hoes. I don't know. I don't know if that's for the look that they were going for, but that's
what you got from it.
And there was a really weird moment as well where they were announcing Aaliyah, and she suddenly sort of like bent over, like she was getting ready to twerk, and then sort of in her head must have gone, "Shit, I can't do that on live television."
She can.
Yeah, she can, but like in her head, she must have stopped, like gone, "Oh, I don't think I can do this," and just stopped halfway through. Like, so she just ended up like sort of bent over for no reason. Yeah. So that's what I was dealing with, but it was another squash match. I can't grade a squash match, and Sarai wins. Yeah, so that's it. It was over before it even started.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, you're good.
Unfortunately, NXT this week seemed to be a lot of squash matches because then we hit with Hit Row, which is the new 4-man group, or 3-man plus a woman group, versus some no names that I've never seen ever. So it was two. I need to learn the names of Hit Row. I know one of them's Isaiah Scott. The other three, I'm still learning the names.
Yeah, that's fair.
But it was another squash match, and Hit Row wins. So it was like squash matches.
4 squash matches.
No, 3 squash matches in the show, and two one after the other.
Jesus.
I don't know. That's why I marked it down for this week on the overall, because I thought that's just too much.
Yeah.
I think this is what they used to do in the 80s.
Yeah.
Like the TV program would just be like Hogan squashing people, and then
yeah. But of course, Blood and Guts set back the industry 30 years, didn't it?
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Whereas the zombie thing.
Don't please! I didn't even look at the pay-per-view after I read that. I didn't even. I don't want to even watch the pay-per-view on that. Fuck that. No, sorry, zombies. Fuck you.
Do you know how much they paid to get the zombies on there?
Even though AEW's got its own resident zombie.
That's different. That's a gimmick. That's different, right? It is though.
It's not.
It's way different. Nobody thinks she's a zombie. Everyone just thinks she's a fucking mental person, and she looks terrifying. These zombies, for no reason, appear. They cost $1 million for that appearance, Frosty. $1 million for one appearance.
I think we can all agree that zombies do not belong in a wrestling ring. I think that's what we can agree on.
Yeah, but $1 million.
Yeah, I know. It's bad. It's bad. I don't know who greenlit that again. Oh god, who even come up with the idea?
Anyway, I'll stop. But $1 million.
Yeah. Do you know what they could have done with that? Anyway, no. I mean, maybe that's why they lost. NXT lost a load of people this week, because they spent $1 million on that and realized, oh shit, with the budget. So we got to get rid of some people.
Sorry, Alexander Wolf.
We have to pay for the zombies.
Yeah, we've grossed $1 billion over the last year. We'll never run out of money, but yeah, we can't afford to pay you the $100,000 a year or whatever.
Well, that's again. Sorry, going back to the. I mean, it tells you how bad NXT was this week that we're talking about this again rather than. But like, it's just shocking that they're getting rid of people. They did it for financial reasons. Was the reason given, by the way, for those releases?
Yeah.
Financial reasons. What the fuck?
The reasons are McMahon wants another T-Rex skull in his office to go with the one he's got.
He's already got one. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
You know, I
wants
mean,
to get one for Triple H for his, like, I don't know, 50th or something.
Triple H one's a T-Rex skull.
Saying that, I found it very interesting that the Triple H is dropping a load of shares again. He keeps dropping shares and shares and shares. I mean,
yeah,
eventually.
Because but to be fair, his bonus program will be him receiving shares. So
yeah.
If he wants to make use of the bonus as cash, he needs to sell them. So
yeah, but I was also thinking, like, you know, is he trying to build cash up for another reason?
I've got some home improvements to make.
No, I was thinking maybe moving away from the old, seeing the old sinking ship as it is, ratings and everything like that. And
Nah.
He's got a big
you don't think so?
planned for sure.
I can't see that. Anybody else, and I'd entertain its possibility. Triple H, nah. Maybe the old man, might be moving on soon, but no fucking way is Hunter going anywhere. Absolutely.
Let's hope that the old man moves on very quickly.
He's literally Hunter is handcuffed to the table that is WWE. He's ain't going fucking anywhere.
Well, is he only saving grace? I think in that company, in terms of like,
he makes millions of dollars a year, regardless of how well the company seems to do. So,
yeah, but I also think that he is probably the only one there that with any knowledge to actually pull this product away from what it is right now. The problem is he's just butting heads with, you got Bruce Pritchard, who's got his lips permanently glued to Vince's arsehole.
There's a few people like that, but yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That you got once the old man goes, hopefully he can drag that company away from.
There's just a lot of so back in the 80s and the 90s, Vince had a lot of people around him who could have gone somewhere else and gave him advice. So Pat Patterson's a big one.
Yeah.
By all accounts, Pat Patterson was very, very honest with Vince all the time, and that's why he was a good writing partner.
Yeah.
And nobody says shit to Vince anymore.
No.
You can't do, because no way would there be things like the Nigerian gimmick on Apollo Crews, or the fucking zombies from Backlash.
Yeah, there's the zombies. Yeah.
There's thousands of examples of this sort of thing where he's just. There's no way that this is somebody who's going through a proper checks and balances procedure anymore.
Yeah. No, he needs. He does need another Pat Patterson to basically they're calling his own shit out, saying no, this ain't gonna work, Vince.
Well,
no.
he's never gonna get a Pat Patterson again, unfortunately. The man's how old is Vince now? 75.
Yeah. Well, he also got rid of Briscoe, didn't he, as well? So
Briscoe was never like that level, like
still shaky. When I think of Vince, I think of Briscoe. I think of Pat Patterson.
No, it's fair. You've got Triple H, and his equivalent are Shawn Michaels and William Regal, and people who will be super honest with him.
Yeah.
Vince is never going to get anyone like that anymore, because who could possibly be that honest with Vince McMahon? Maybe Paul Heyman, but Paul Heyman's tried and failed on that. Eric Bischoff tried and failed. Now he's
Tried and
now
yeah.
he's sucking. I won't say that actually on YouTube, but you know what I mean. Like, there's a few people who might have once done it, and they don't do it anymore. And
Is he Bischoff on the old AEW bandwagon now? Is he? He's following. Woo-hoo.
Nah. Bischoff is in the Hall of Fame. He was just it was down on
I
his
don't know.
knees not 6 weeks ago.
Interviews, the recent interview I've seen, and that he was talking about why he was telling everyone why AEW is beating us in the ratings, and it's that type of thing, and how much of a better product it is, and basically he got his ring and then went like that.
No, but Bischoff is doing a good job right now, being very central, and like fence sitting. But he's he's on his podcast. He's trying to make his money from his 78 weeks podcast, or whatever it's called, 83 weeks. Sorry.
Yeah.
And other things, his books and stuff. That's what he's pushing, and he wants WWE fans to buy him, and he wants AEW fans to buy him.
Should we get back to NXT by any chance?
Yes.
Yeah. Sideway.
Segue over.
Segue over. Yeah. Right. Okay. So we had for the main event, we had Bronson Reed versus Johnny Gargano in a cage match.
Ooh.
Yes.
Wish I'd watched this. Go on.
Right. Honestly, probably one of the best cage matches I've watched in a while.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest with you, on the WWE brand, because I think we had one. Didn't we have one a couple of weeks ago, or maybe a couple of months ago, between Braun and Shane?
Yes.
That was at WrestleMania. Yeah. And it was okay, wasn't it? I remember, but there was just one spot where everyone went, "Oh shit, that's amazing." That was the one. Whereas this, one you got Johnny Gargano, who is a wrestling genius, but also it honestly hard hitting. That's a pot. The Johnny Gargano looks great as usual. Looks like he's selling £1 million. Honestly, he just sells like he's like Nova. Sometimes when you're watching him. Really enjoyed the match. It ended it with Bronson Reed winning, and I gave it a grade of an A because I really enjoyed the cage match that they had. It was from start to finish. It was entertaining. It wasn't Weasley getting out, trying to jump out, and everything like that. It was a proper.
Fair enough.
Cage match. So and that's what I wanted. You want from a cage.
Pretty solid, man. Yeah.
Yeah. That was obviously clearly the match of the night because everything else was either not gradable or.
Jesus. Can you? So there were 3 squash matches and a cage match. I guess.
Yeah.
What was the cage match very long?
Oh, now you're asking. I think it was about. I want to say 15 to 20 minute maybe.
Oh, not super long. Not like a half an hour.
No, it wasn't. No, from what I remember, it wasn't anyway.
Because
the time went so like I didn't think about the time. I'll be honest, because it was so entertaining that it just went.
You're all good. Yeah. It's just I'm trying to justify why you'd have 3 squash matches.
I think maybe just try and fit it, but then I think it was just try and fit in all the shit in between.
All the promos.
I think that's what. Yeah, I think that's what it was. It was trying to fit that stuff in.
Fair,
it's like take that shit out and give us some.
There was a lot of segments. You ran us through a lot of segments there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
they could have taken out at least 3 segments there and given us some decent matches. I mean, you're never going to get a good match out of Aaliyah or Sarai, to be honest. But like Sarai, yes, but Aaliyah, no. Never going to happen.
Yeah.
Hit Row, maybe if they get someone. I mean, there's no 4-man groups now. I don't think now in NXT apart from them. So, not that I can think of, unless the Mexican dudes suddenly pick up a woman,
which isn't out of the question.
It isn't out of the question for them to doing that. But
what did you say, Simon?
Is Imperium a 4-man now that Alexander Wolf's
gone? Hit Row is 3 blokes and 1 woman. So it wouldn't really. I suppose no, because there's no free. Now the Imperium's 3-man. Technically, yes, they could pick up someone to go with them. So yeah, I suppose that makes sense in terms of that. But
Walter's not above hitting a woman. We know that.
yeah. He's yeah.
He'd
So
hit a wall, man. He doesn't
yeah.
care. He'll hit what's in front of him.
So in terms of that, so like for Hit Roll, they maybe in the future can do something with it and that, but they could have done a lot more in terms of, and you know, if they just took out a few more segments. But yeah, so overall, the show, because it had, hang on, I'm making sure I got this right. I gave it a C, C minus, a B plus, and an A minus. So I think overall, it was on that cusp between a C plus and a B minus. So that gap between there.
Kind of okay to all right.
Yeah, yeah.
It's okay.
So I just put show was okay, but needed less squash matches and not so many promos at the beginning. It's it exactly what we've just been talking about. It was just filled with crap, and we got squash matches. Like, take that shit out and give us a decent match.
I don't mind a good squash match, but
if it's warranted, I don't like, you know, if you're trying to build like a monster up. So like, you know, when they did it with Braun when he was coming up, and they just basically for a few weeks they gave him just basically like local talent to throw around like ragdolls, basically, until they said, right, okay, you're going to fight, you know, this guy who's mid card, ready to, and then build it up to to get it to the top. I don't mind that type of thing, but they just felt.
I like seeing jobbers on television, because then in years to come they end up becoming Matt Jackson, one half of the Young Bucks.
Yeah,
that's super fun.
I don't mind it when you can see the talent is there, you know. But when you got people like Aaliyah, you're not gonna get it. There is no talent there.
She's not very, 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 very new or something.
No, she's been there for. So it's technically new. I think about over a year now. Because she was with the Robert Stone band when Chelsea Green was with him.
Was she brand new to wrestling or from the indies?
I think she's brand new to wrestling. Oh God, I'd have to look up on her profile on that. But I just
no, you're good. Yeah, that's just
when you see her,
it's not okay. So NXT still kind of ropey television, occasionally brilliant, but
we seem to be going through this period of like having one really bad week and then having a decent week and then going through another bad, like I say, you're getting two different types of writers, or producers or whatever, you know, whoever's doing the show, and it looks like they're split into two teams and you can tell the difference. It's like get rid of the B writers and the B producers and that, and just stick with the A.
It's only a 2-hour show once a week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't. Yeah. Fair enough.
Sometimes
she was on the independent circuit for not long, for 2 years.
Oh,
yeah, there you go.
So she's reasonably green without being like.
And not with anyone really notable in terms of indie circuit. So
go on, read them out, because you. No offense, but you don't know the indies very
well. So she wrestled in the independent circuit under the ring. She wrestled for Squared Circle Wrestling in Toronto from January 2013, and then a variety of other promotions in Canada and the United States, including Pure Wrestling Association, Absolute Intense Wrestling, and New England Championship Wrestling.
AIW, I'm sure AIW is a reasonably.
Yeah, Absolute Intense Wrestling. Yeah,
it's
probably
okay. So we're talking about like mid-level indies. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. So, yeah, and then she got signed in 2015 to WWE.
So that was 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh,
so she's been there
a while. She's never getting any better then.
No.
Fair enough.
So that's her. That's her destiny.
That might be the fact she's gone to WWE. Because like we were saying earlier, you know, we can talk about all the ones that came into it, and you know, Seth Rollins used to be in Ring of Honor, and all that. Like the only star I can think, only homegrown star I can think of that NXT made was Roman Reigns.
Yeah, and Baron Corbin.
Yeah. So if she was going to get better, she shouldn't have gone to WWE. She should have stayed in
Yeah,
the Indies for a few more years. And yeah,
that's the thing. Is I also
I
think the
think
problem.
best way to get better.
Yeah.
I think that one of the problems as well is that when WWE went crazy and signed everyone from the Indies over the last, it sort of drained the Indies of anyone like being able to teach the
Yeah.
next crop from the, you know what I mean? Like, so
Yeah.
it was like a knock-on effect.
Well, yeah, that
so you
happened
had
the first time round
Sami
too.
Zayn's and the Kevin Owens teaching the next group from the Indies. It just suddenly stopped.
It's interesting. You've got this. There was a build from like your Doug Williams era, like early 2000s, right up until the proper indie boom, and there's like this progression, as you say, of people teaching people, and people making other people better. And then you drain the talent, and so you almost have this thing in the indies right now where they're at that Doug Williams level again. They're trying to make like that through that Samoa Joe, Daniel Bryan phase up to this another crescendo. It's going to take years.
Yeah.
And unless these releases happen and we get sort of the progression, who knows?
Yeah. No, like I say, they seem to just drain the talent every now and again, and then it's like a double-edged sword because they get affected by it because there's no one in the indies left that's coming through that's decent, and then you get people like Aaliyah, who I hate to get back on the bashing of her, but you know,
I'm not sure that's true. I'm not sure that's true.
It's true. Yeah. It's.
I think you enjoy bashing her.
Yeah.
All right, on to Dynamite then, yeah?
Yep. I'll let you go through this one.
Okay, so I just want to briefly touch on last week because we didn't end up covering the week before's Dynamite. Cody's promo, fucking weird. And
Was that the I'm so proud of being American, blah blah blah, patriotic garbage?
yeah. Even though, whatever.
I still have my notes about that. I think I made some.
Yeah, and was the bit of the bubbly last week as well?
Yeah.
Yes.
That was kind of cool. I mean, it's played to death now at this point with the beer truck, the milk truck, the bubbly.
That was 20 years ago, but it's still like it was yesterday.
Feels like it's played to death. Although I can totally it worked. They just better not ever do it again.
The only thing I will say on that the bubbly part is because obviously the slipping around like it was like ice that was on the ground, like that's yeah.
Yeah, but they did the same thing with the milk and the beer.
The
spot is the spot. You got to live with it. You got to commit.
I think my problem was that the hose didn't look powerful enough. Do you know what I mean? Like the hose did not look like it was even touching them properly. It was. Oh.
I like that when they drove up in the cart, you could clearly see Jericho hiding in there as well.
Oh God, yeah.
Someone told the models to move. That were at the ring to move back, like because they were stood there. Then it cuts to the inner circle, and then to come back and suddenly all the girls have moved to like the back of the stage, and like, oh yeah, what's gonna happen now? It's funny.
It was AEW occasionally has these teething problems that you just you just sit at. Yeah, you don't really think about them in WWE because it's all planned ahead. That's one benefit of micromanaging, I guess.
Well, yeah, like AEW, this is like the first time they've all of them have made their own show, so it's going to be like, oh yeah, we didn't think about this. So hopefully it's something they just they make a note of it for next time or whatever.
Well, the Young Bucks book is something I also finished in the interim, I think, but since last podcast. In terms of like money made, there were times where I assumed the Young Bucks were like millionaires, like back in like 2014, 2015. They were not. They were not earning that much money right up until pretty much like remember the Hot Topic deals, like the year before AEW started. That's when they started earning money. Before that, they were literally like
hand to mouth.
Yeah, like their wives had real jobs, and that helped support the family.
Yeah.
crazy, like when you think about it, like how much good AEW has been for wrestlers in those positions, to give them like sort of this platform. So anyway, this week's Dynamite, because I sort of have unless anybody has any other comments, sort of vaguely. We don't want to cover the whole show for the week before, but
No, I was happy with what you said. So, well, I won't say happy, but
in agreement.
yeah, in agreement. Yeah.
Anything else? No, you're all good. Right.
No.
So Dynamite from this Wednesday. Oh, worth noting, they told us right away. Dynamite Friday next week. They said it like 3 times during the show to make sure that their audience moves. Just for that 1 week, because they're getting bumped for. I don't even know what they're getting bumped for actually.
NBA, I think.
Do you know what's really shit though? They're getting bumped on their go home show for a pay-per-view.
Yeah, that's it's. I mean, they did tell everyone several times and that, so that hopefully you should get the majority of people going over anyway.
It meant that it was important.
It's a shit thing to do just before a major pay-per-view. Like.
Yeah, it means that this is sort of a semi go home show. Because some people will miss the Friday.
Yeah.
Which means they need to solidify the card by the end of this this episode, basically, and then next episode is just the all the previews and the build up. So it started with Christian Cage and then Matt Sydal. Christian still look like, yeah. I mean, he's been out a few times now. There's no smoke and mirrors. He's good. He's solid. He's back.
Yeah.
Matt Sydal is so underrated.
Yeah.
I've been ignoring him because he's been on Dark and Elevation and stuff in the last year. He looks great. We were watching with Kitty and a few other people. And I was like, well, which of these two do you think is like a highly respected wrestler but like with their peers, like a wrestler's wrestler? And they unanimously said Matt Sydal over Christian. Now, obviously, parts of the reasons why Christian is so good isn't always immediately apparent, and you have to sort of get used to wrestling before you understand why Christian's so good. But what it does say is that Matt Sydal has got a huge upside that is still unexplored, at least in my opinion.
No, I agree.
The selling was great. The expressions, the bright red, the sweaty, the painfulness of it all, we were watching again, like I said, with people who didn't necessarily watch wrestling, and then Christian Cage hits the kill switch, and they were like, "It's over, it's done," and it was like that is such a clear finisher. That's such an effective finisher because they knew it was done. I just thought that was worth remarking upon.
I think we should really try and do that more often, where we watch the shows with a few people to gauge their, so see how they react to the show themselves.
It was so useful.
Yeah, because you were feeling that when they were watching it, and like you were getting that where, oh wow, that looked amazing. Like I think at one point, Matt Sydal, does his is it the Hurricane Rana? Yeah.
Yes.
And I just heard, a few people go, oh wow, that's what you want.
Well,
especially from non-wrestling fans.
Well, the kill switch being like that was the moment where I was like, this is actually quite useful. I completely agree.
Yeah.
I think it's something we explore more. But I mean, the match overall. Any other comments from you guys on that one?
No, I think you pretty much covered it, and that for me, like I say, Matt Sydal underrated completely. Like he was, but you really didn't see much of him when he was in WWE as Evan Bourne, so it was hard to see that. But having watched him now in AEW, that I have for my many weeks of, what was it, 4 or 5 weeks now? No, you can tell he is really, really good, and the potential there for probably what TNT world champion, or maybe even further? Like,
I don't like to be hyperbolic, and I tend
Yeah.
to grade wrestlers like I grade matches.
Mm.
So I'll do the sort of F through to S tier.
Mm.
And Christian right now is like a B to A tier,
Mm.
but like at his best is an S tier. I'm thinking about his TNA run.
Yeah.
Now Matt Sydal is very much B tier, and I don't think he ever has that S tier in him. But you see what I mean? Like there's a bit.
Yeah.
He doesn't
Well, yes,
necessarily.
for A.
But I'm happy to be. Yeah, I mean, an A tier would be Miro right now, or Darby
Yeah.
Allin right now.
Well, that's what the thing is, the TNT.
Yeah, like
title.
a TNT title, but I don't necessarily think he could go for the TNT title right now, and it'd be believable.
No, I wasn't suggesting that. I'm just saying that the potential there for the TNT
Yeah,
title.
definitely.
Simon?
Yeah. Well, Christian and Matt Sydal are both solid guys, and if you want a good opening match, then you couldn't get a lot better than these two. Sydal could definitely be like a TNT champion, but the problem he's got to contend with is AEW has so many people on their roster now. He's gonna be one of the people who gets lost in the shuffle. If they had like half the number they did, then I'd say he's got a much brighter future.
I agree.
At the moment, he's going to be end up like Dark Elevation most of the time rather than on Dynamite. But hopefully, with this new Rampage show, they'll be able to feature more people per week than they otherwise can now.
I think it'd be interesting if Rampage is staying on TNT, does that mean the TNT title stays on Rampage?
They're not going to like change the title or whatever. It's just going to.
No, they said that. They said they weren't going to change it.
Because TBS is still on Turner Network, so
yeah, it's still part of their thing. So
they're not going to bother changing the title name.
No, they've already said that.
I mean, they could call it the Turner title, then it doesn't really matter. But
yeah, just the TV title would work, wouldn't it? That's what ECW used to call it.
Kind of, but TV title's got like a stigma of being like lesser title.
True.
Do you think? Do you want to watch a world title match or a TV title match? World, please.
Fair point. But yeah, he's gonna get lost in the shuffle if he doesn't do something very specific and like engaging, which he currently unfortunately doesn't have anything like that makes you go like lock onto him in the same way like Orange Cassidy or Darby Allin. They've just got like that's something that you just sort of latch onto. Matt Sydal just doesn't have that. And then it moves on to a Hollywood Blondes promo for later in the night. Brian Pillman Jr. He's good delivery. Griff Garrison looks nervous. It's weird, like 80s vibe promo, which I mean, Brian Pillman Jr. looks like you've literally like accidentally plucked him from the 90s in a from the 80s in a DeLorean, and then just dropped him off at a wrestling show. And Griff Garrison looks like you taught him how to wrestle this morning, and he's wrestling in his pants. That's what he looks like. So it's just strange. The Griff Garrison, I'm not sold on him. I've watched him on Sammy's vlog. I've watched him on Being the Elite. I just don't get it. Brian Pillman Jr. needs to sort of divorce himself from this Blondes idea and just sort of become his own man. He needs to, you know how Cody needed to become his own man and stop being Goldust's little brother. I think Brian needs a bit of that.
Yeah, the pizzazz. Yeah.
The chick behind him, I'd never noticed her before. I didn't realize she was part of the Hollywood Blondes. I watch AEW every week.
Yeah, I think this is the first time she'd appear with them, as far as I know.
Yeah, just randomly.
Yeah.
Random new pairing.
I don't blame them, and yeah, it seems like a good fit. Just Griff Garrison needs to learn how to look like he isn't scared of the camera, and hopefully that will fix things.
Could you replace him? Is it a case of you could still have that tag, but in terms of like like they did with the Horsemen and stuff like that, and well, so you
Yeah.
could push him out and bring someone else who actually knows what they're doing.
No, Griff Garrison's just new, and this
Yeah,
was,
just-
I
looks
think, was
great.
his like first major promo as well. So yeah, gotta give him time.
Yeah, like I don't necessarily think Griff Garrison is always going to be bad. I just think it was.
Sorry, the way you were talking about it, I was under the impression that this has been going on a while, like in terms of them as a team.
No, Griff Garrison.
Haven't been
I've
together
seen him
that
on.
long.
I don't get him. I don't get what he's trying to do. But I'm not saying fire him today. I can get.
Oh, I'm not even saying fire him. I'm just saying maybe he's just not a right fit for that.
He just looks weird. He just looks weird and nervous in the whole time, in the back, and then he's talking, and he's like, you feel like, is he gonna fire up or is he gonna cry? You can't quite tell. A very 80s vibe, like I don't know. He just needed. It seems like he needed like a line of coke. I would have like yeah. Anyway.
So.
And then you had Mox and Eddie talk about the Acclaimed right before the match, and that was funny.
Yeah, that rap.
And then of course, so Mox and Eddie have got like a little chat before the match, and they talk about how they're rappers and like what's that all about, and they're talking about super kick parties.
The other's the rapper's friend.
Yeah, like, but then they come to the ring, and Max Caster just like okay, you like, and he says
oral sessions.
It ends with the oral sessions thing, and my god, it was a highlight of the show. I'm not gonna lie, I think it was a highlight of the show. Fucking hell, what a line, Max Caster.
It's what you remembered. It's what you remember the most from the show is that.
It's like that. It's like 60 seconds of pure roast. John Moxley looks at him like, I'll fucking kill you.
Did you see the slap?
Yeah. I get the feeling that Mox didn't know
bonk.
I get the feeling Mox didn't know exactly what he was going to say from that response, like from the facial expression. That or he was acting really well, but for me that was literally the best thing that happened on this show. Not in a bad way. Like the rest of the show was really good, but that moment I just absolutely. The first time I watched it, I was on my own, and I was laughing so loudly that like I had to literally stop because I didn't notice that the match had started because I was still laughing from the oral sessions line. But then, like when we're talking about, and then back to the match, Mox and Eddie, like, they're believable. Mox is this swaggering world champion, like absolute god of pro wrestling at the moment, and Eddie is this like slightly softer, like not as good, but also very genuine guy, like sort of an S tier and a B tier guy. Like together, they're very funny. They've got great chemistry, and in and out of the ring, I feel like they've got good chemistry. And it was a good match. The style of match was like a vets v younguns style match where the vets had to just sort of overcome the energy of the younger guys, which was a good story to tell in this situation. It kept the Acclaim strong whilst also saying, Mox and Eddie are gonna be going above you here. They're going over, and there's no shame in losing to John Moxley. Anybody in the world should be able to lose to John Moxley and be able to keep their heat. So I don't see this hurting the Acclaimed at all. Go on.
Sorry, the only thing I will say is that I tend to enjoy Eddie and Moxley more out of the ring than I do them in the ring.
That's fair.
Because I don't know what it is. When they're in the ring, both great, moving around and stuff like that, and some of the, like I say, that slap that Mox did to one of those, like, it looks brutal. But I don't know. I think I got too much of a high expectation for the matches for them, like especially from Moxley. I expect so much more that I don't. But so that I think I put it on such a high pedestal that when I watch the match, I just don't get it.
Fair.
I think that's my issue. It's not what they're doing. It's just because I put them on that type of level that I'm expecting such a great match that when I don't get it, it's like.
I mean, I do disagree, but I think they've not gone all out yet. They've not had a big tag team match yet.
No.
And sometimes the story is more important than the shine. So I think in this match it was important that they got across that the Acclaimed weren't jobbers.
Like I say, I think it's a me issue rather than what they're actually doing. Do you know what I mean?
There's a level of appreciation. Simon, by all means, butt in at any point here, but there's a level of appreciation that you have from Mox, where he's like, he's gone for something very specific, like a very specific vibe, like a late '90s, early 2000s deathmatch vibe. Like that's essentially, he wants to walk around like he's that guy, and that doesn't always lend itself to a perfect match. And in fact, he almost doesn't want a perfect match. He wants to have that sweaty brutality. What do you think, Simon? Do you think they're being underwhelming so far, or?
Not really. I enjoy the promos and stuff, and the matches are kind of what I expect from them. I'm not expecting more in the way that Frosty is.
I think it's just because I listen to you guys talk about Moxley and the characters and stuff, and what they do in the ring, and I think that's what like I say, in my head, I'm expecting just pure chaos inside.
In your head, you're expecting Okada Kenny every week.
Not every week, but like I'm expecting more chaos and more. I don't.
Let's watch Double or Nothing.
I don't know what
together.
I'm expecting.
When we hit Double or Nothing, which is Mox and Eddie versus the Young Bucks, that match has the potential to be the style of match that you're expecting. I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Like I say, maybe I'll get it.
Reserve judgment for that one.
Well, like I say, I wasn't trying to knock them down or anything like that. But that was like I say, I really do believe that's probably me in my own head putting them up there and me expecting more than what because maybe it is building up to like a pay-per-view standard where you watch the match and you go, there it is. You know what I mean?
I'm thinking that. And the Young Bucks can have a great match with anyone. So and they can have a match of the year with the right people. So we'll see. I gave that match a B+ because it wasn't long enough to be any higher than that. Any disagrees there, or are you all good?
No, I'd agree with that.
Then we had Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky, which definitely could have been a video package, but it was in the ring. Good delivery, made sense. I think the crowd ruined it. And honestly, like they're talking about how Sting ain't the same guy, and how it's sad he should go home. And I'm like, you know what? Scorpio Sky got a point. Scorpio Sky is not wrong here. This is the heel should be like right, but on the wrong path. And Scorpio Sky's right and has a point, and I don't fully understand how he's gonna. I think he's purely getting heel heat because of how much people love Sting, and if you were to assess it like with a cold head, you'd be like, he's got a point. This is like when in Impact or in TNA at the time, when like RVD showed up high out of his mind and barely able to move. And all the TNA originals were like, "What the fuck's going on?" Feels very similar to that with Sting. And then after that you had a Pinnacle promo, so 2 promos in a row, which is fine. MJF, electric. That's MJW, MJF right now. Sorry, I'm thinking about LMLW for some reason because he used to work there.
Yeah.
He's just he brings a vibe. He always has, but the Pinnacle thing almost gives him this legitimacy to the vibe that he brings. Do you guys get what I mean by that?
I know what you mean. Yeah.
And it's and Sean Spears attacking the waiter and Dax Harwood. Go on.
I was gonna say that was the most interesting thing Sean Spears has ever done for me. Was attacking that waiter. That was the most interesting thing he's ever done.
Tully Blanchard just like a roll of bills and just throws it at the waiter. He's like, that should sort it out. Oh, fucking hell. Okay.
And the waiter caught it without looking as well. It just hit him, fell into his hand.
Yeah.
Like, oh, money, accent.
That was cool. It was fucking cool. And go on.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say, this touches upon about what I was saying about the authenticity of someone who believes what they're saying and, makes it real as possible and is that person. That's what MJF does. He is that character, that person, that character that he's made. He believes he is that person. So, and it comes across brilliantly in these segments that they do.
He never breaks character. Ever.
That's what I mean. It's brilliant.
You ever hear him on Steve Austin's podcast?
He gets kicked out of Steve Austin's show
all the time, and then it's like you hear like them fighting in the background or whatever, and then he just comes back, "God damn, son!" I think like kicked him down the stairs or something.
Yeah, well, yeah. The end of the podcast, he gets kicked out the house. It's fantastic. Obviously, Steve loves that sort of thing. So yeah, but he's good. He's so good. He's got so much upside. And he's 25, I think. So we got years of him yet. We've got so much time for MJF to end up being the next like proper big thing. Hopefully.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, yeah, because he definitely definitely showing star power every time I watch him. Every time he pulls my attention to the product and what he's saying and what I want to.
I can't remember the last time I saw a performer and I've been like that glued to them. In that way, it's certainly been a long time since there's somebody that's been that good. But then moving on, we got Rebel, or not Reba, versus Shida.
Yeah.
Which was okay as a match. Yeah. Bit shit.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't really get much from it, to be honest. It was
alright. It was.
This wasn't meant to be a match. It was meant to be like a match. To further the angle, so just to get the visual of Britt with the belt and
Britt saved the segment for me. I was like, I'm ready for Shida to lose the title now. I was there for her winning it. Like I was like, this is the right move. She's had it a year now.
I think for me, it's just a very slow build of watching Britt Baker. Because obviously I've only been watching like 5 weeks or whatever it's been. So for me, I'm not even watching a fight yet. It's really like...
Yeah, Britt Baker doesn't wrestle that often. It's an interesting one. But yeah, she's in the other pay-per-view. It's Shida and Britt Baker. Next week, Shida's got a celebration of Shida's reign for it being a year long, which is a surefire way of telling us that the reign is over.
Yeah, they're pretty much telling everyone it's going to be over.
The actual segment I gave a B-, just for the fact that Britt Baker looks like a fucking star. She's holding the belt. It just suits. She's there now. It's time. I'll actually be surprised. I'll be very surprised if Shida doesn't lose the belt. Also, Rebel or Reba.
Is the Reba thing? Because I think you touched upon this yesterday. Like when
I'm pretty sure it's a rib.
The Reba thing. Is it? Oh, is it right? Okay. Because you were saying that you've never even heard it before. Like, she
No,
even got that.
I said I'm pretty sure the Reba thing was Britt Baker ribbing her and calling her Reba, even though she knows for sure it's Rebel. And
Yeah.
then everyone accidentally everyone picked up on Britt Baker calling it and thought that was her actual name. And it got to the point where they now have to clarify, which is actually funny in and of itself. So it's a decent gimmick that no one knows your name.
Mm-hmm. What's my name?
Reba. No, it's Rebel. But yeah, it's just next week should be a decent segment for the women. Hopefully something like that builds it up a little bit more. AEW tends to not give enough hype to its women's division. Like, it doesn't treat it as an equal. So hopefully next week we get like a proper legitimate, not treated for laughs or treated for as a second class kind of thing.
Well,
go on.
Sorry, hitting upon the women's division. That shouldn't you? I think in the next couple of weeks, and that shouldn't the is it the 90-day, when they get released, where they can't wrestle for other people, and that the 90-day thing should be over. So the Iconics, maybe.
That would be an interesting pay-per-view debut, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Or would it not? Immediately following Britt Baker
I'd have
beating Shida.
I'd have to have a look at the dates and that, but I'm sure it must be coming up soon.
Well, they couldn't be called the Iconics, so they'd have to be called something like the Majestics or something along those lines. But
I mean, it adds more to the women's division and a bit.
Didn't they spell Iconics with like a double I at the start though?
Yeah.
So they probably could call the Iconics just with one I, because technically it's a different name.
That would be very interesting from a legal
Yeah.
point of view.
Or do the old TNA thing and just like IY Conics.
Yeah, Iconics. Yeah. Maybe we'll see. I think that there will definitely be some sort of women debut at the show.
I'm actually imagine so, because the 90 days must be coming up soon. I would have said.
And even if it isn't, the 90 days isn't legally enforceable anyway. Alberto Del Rio confirmed that years ago at this point, when he wrestled for AAA.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize it was. I thought it was a legally thing.
AAA is not really competition for WWE though, so because they're just in Mexico, they don't broadcast on American TV. So
I was going to say it's different laws over there as well. Sure.
It's mostly a not burning bridges thing. So respecting the 30 days. Matt Hardy also went to Ring of Honor back when he was released in 2005 because Edge fucked Lita. He worked for Ring of Honor during his no compete course.
Ring of Honor wasn't on TV though; they were just DVD only at that point.
Yeah, but
that would have been.
But yeah, there's I don't think the 90 days compete course will be as much of a thing.
Well, people normally stick to it, don't they?
Yeah, because it'd be for a not burning bridges point of view.
Yeah.
But Del Rio didn't, because he didn't give him the toss at that point. But that bridge was well and truly burned.
I think he's got bigger problems now than 90 days. He's probably wishing he only gets 90 days.
He's getting bumped by Bobba. Oh god. Kenny Omega, Orange Cassidy, and Don Callis promo.
Is this the one where they're in the medical room?
Yeah, in the medical room from last week. They were explaining why. Basically, they were lampshading the fact that it was a weird ending to the match the week before. From what it's worth, it was a legitimate shoot injury. If anybody didn't know, it was a legitimate shoot injury that he had, and he wasn't able to finish the match. They rushed the ending. It was always supposed to be a double, like a both of them.
Time of the draw, wasn't it?
Yeah, supposed to be. Yeah. But they rushed the finish because they wanted to preserve that, the result. And so Kenny called an audible or went out there, and which he has the right to do. He's an EVP. And I think he gets himself even more heat, which isn't a terrible thing either for the world champion. But then he sat there and he was proper slimy heel, and just trying to weasel out of a sticky situation. It was perfect. Don Callis there with his car salesman binder, trying to give an Orange being like the super face that he is, just ripping it very slowly, perfectly.
Oh yeah, the very slow peel, is it?
Well, it's perfectly in character. Just Orange Cassidy would never rip anything up in anger. He'd rip things up to make a point.
Yeah.
So yeah, great little promo, great little segment. Be interesting. If Orange, I hope Orange is good for the pay-per-view. I assume him ripping that up is that he is good for the pay-per-view.
Oh, yeah, I would have thought so.
Early predictions. Obviously, we've still got another week before proper predictions, but early predictions.
There's no way Kenny's losing the title, but I can't work this out because like they're really going it all in on, pardon the pun, on Orange Cassidy being the big threat to Kenny. But it might, like, for me, I love Orange Cassidy, but in terms of ranking, if anyone was to beat Kenny in this match, it's going to be Pac.
Yeah.
He clearly looks more like a world champion, but
do you think it's setting up
but
for
Pac
a rivalry?
basically had no involvement in these promos at all. He's like just
It's an afterthought.
Yeah.
An afterthought. So I can't work out what they're going to do here because
it's strange, isn't it? Go on. What were you going to say, Frosty?
I was going to say, do you think it's a case of they're going to make it so Kenny doesn't lose, but they're going to make it where Pac and Orange enter into a rivalry, so it frees Omega then to go into something else?
They're coming out of a
Yeah.
rivalry right now. They
What,
had
Pac and
Pac
Orange?
and Orange, yeah.
Oh, okay. So then maybe that's not the route then. Sorry, that was before.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's sort of I think it was ending more or less as you started watching, so you probably
Oh, right, okay. So yeah, so I
haven't
missed
caught it, which is fine. But yeah, I don't see that's the thing. They very much did a heat transfer on purpose. They moved Moxley and Eddie Kingston from feuding with Kenny to feuding with the Elite, so that they could move them onto the Bucks.
Right.
And that was to free up Kenny for this sort of stuff. He's still belt collecting.
Hmm.
The belt collecting needs to go somewhere. There's a certain NWGP vacant world championship right now due to Will Ospreay injuring himself. Is it going to go there? I don't know.
does it go back on Ibushi?
If it goes back on Ibushi,
and then we get the head-to-head between
the
them.
Golden Lovers, maybe. I just think the belt collecting has to go somewhere. NJW, the Forbidden Door is blown wide open. So, maybe.
Does Kenny enter the G1 and win it?
That would be fucking amazing, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I can't. That wouldn't happen.
That's
I
pipe
can't see
dream,
that.
but that would be amazing.
Yeah, it would be fun. Yeah.
Well,
Sorry, sorry, you're saying about Ibushi. Is that the one that Omega's stuffing his shuttlecock into? Or is it?
we're live on YouTube, pal. Yeah,
Emma's insistent he's in a relationship with Shida.
I think he is in a relationship with Shida.
You also told me that he was in a supposed relationship
with Ibushi. Right, okay. So no one really knows because he's very private, as he has the right to be. But he's often hinted at being bisexual. Once on being the Elite, he said, "I need a good wife or a good boyfriend."
Yeah. I mean, to be honest with you, he can fuck whoever he wants. I don't.
Oh no, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's like, but him and Ibushi, there's obviously real friendship there at the very least. Like the way they interact together. There's just a lot there to unpack with Ibushi that I don't want to sit and sort of unpack Kenny Omega and Ibushi's long and story past, but because there's videos on YouTube that can do all of that much better than I can remember it half off the cuff. But it's needless to say that a match between Kenny and Ibushi for a world title is yet to happen. in any grand stage. It happened in DDT, but it's yet to happen for like a big title. And it happening in the next 6 months would be fucking peak 2021. way better than all the vaccines and shit. Way better than all the crowds coming back. If we get Ibushi and Kenny, I'm happy.
Yeah. Have they announced, by the way, the crowds for AEW or?
Yeah, Double or Nothing will be full capacity.
Full capacity. All right. Okay. Sorry. I know that WWE just recently announced their tours.
We'll be starting. Yeah, and apparently they're trying to get John Cena for the first live show.
Yes. John. Well, he's talked about coming back anyway. So.
Well, John Cena's quietly out of contract with WWE right now.
Yeah. Well, he's going to be charging them, big dollars now to come back
now.
Yeah, it's Rock money. Yeah.
And he wants Rock level rub. Just go in and destroy everyone and then leave.
Yeah.
So he should. To be fair, so he should.
Yeah. It feels like we're back in 2011.
Yeah, remember when Rock said he was never leaving again?
Yeah.
And then promptly left.
Didn't last long.
Don't, Simon. It still hurts. It still hurts. Maybe he's looked at the current products and gone, fuck, I'm not coming back to that.
Well, The Rock is as bigger than wrestling ever was now.
Yeah, exactly.
The Rock's made more money in the last 10 years than WWE has in the last...
He's made more money than most actors have.
He's worth like $1 billion or something stupid now.
Wasn't the highest paid actor? Sorry,
I'm pulling that figure out of nowhere, but he's worth an insane amount of money now.
Yeah. Well, he was the highest paid actor for, was it like 3 or 4 years running?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Mental.
Because not only is he getting paid for his acting abilities, but he's also got his production. Is it $7 production? I think it is. Or something? Yeah. And they're producing everything.
Well, he must sleep like 3 hours a night. He always seems to be working. It's like, when does he ever have a break?
I know this is like.
It must be. I think he's like a secret like quadruplet or something, because there's no way one guy can do all that.
Well, I'm beginning to think he's a cyborg. I'm beginning to think he's a cyborg.
I had the same sort of feeling about Michael Fassbender. Like there had to be more than like one of him, because he was in everything for like 3 years or something. It's like, how does this one guy get in all these films?
Well, the one thing I was going to say was, do you remember, was it last year, I think it was, that he posted a video up on, I think over TikTok or something like that, of him ripping off his, the gate, the motorized gate.
Yes.
Did you see that shit?
Yeah. He put it on Instagram, I think.
I'm telling you, fucking Terminator, he is. He's a fucking cyborg. something that
he's on the good shit. Let's be honest, right?
I think you just rebooted the Terminator franchise with that suggestion. Arnie's too old, so they're going to go.
Well, there you go. By the way, Dwayne, if you're watching this, I want my 10%, please.
10%. Wow.
Finder's fee.
Yeah. 10% of what he's earning, mate, is a lot of money.
Yeah. No, that's what I was going to say. 10%'s a lot, man. Take 0.1%.
I'll
back onto Dynamite.
Frosty gets.
Back onto Dynamite. The Inner Circle come out for their promo. Face turn complete. Jericho is in full face mode. He's he's occasionally smiling. There's not a scowl in the room. Jericho's he's all the way into his slightly less entertaining face mode. I do love the Inner Circle though, apart from Jake Hager.
Yep, I remember that reaction when he came on TV.
Sammy Guevara struggles to be a face, doesn't he?
Oh, big time.
It's just like, oh, bless him. He's a good heel.
He's trying.
He's a good heel, and he'll be a good face, but it's got to hit that conviction. And Jericho was fine. I thought the promo went a little long. What do you think, Simon?
Yeah, kinda.
Didn't say a lot, did they?
Felt a bit weird to have them all stand in line and then go, should we do it? Yes, I want to, but then all together and like, yes. It seemed like very sort of cheesy in a way.
Yeah.
Mm,
Just
mm.
come out, say
Not the
yes.
not the best way for them to all say like we're doing it. 'Cause we all know it was going to happen anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. At that point, it was just yeah, it was a little artificial, but it was fine. Didn't hurt any of them, but kind of a weird promo. But it did cement that they're not just face to be against the Pinnacle. The face turn is complete. They're all the way there. Which I guess if that's the point that they wanted to go for, fair enough. Jade Cargill was next with the grey hair guy trying to get her to sign again. This has got to be going somewhere. If this isn't going somewhere, I'm gonna pull my hair out. Fucking awful.
Oh, was it the contract signing with the agent or whatever it is?
Yeah, just like agents and like she's the most sought after free agent. It's like, whoa. I get it because the AEW are trying to push the idea that everyone is either in a faction or is like kind of a jobber. Anybody who's worth anything is associated with someone. But fucking hell, it's been weeks of this now.
She did catch at the end. She had the same reaction to him that I did. Like, who the hell are you? Tell us your name.
I have no idea what his name is, but he's MJF's lawyer.
It is Mark Sterling Esquire.
There you go.
But yeah. I didn't remember that he was MJF's lawyer. Unless that's a different character entirely. We just now
quite possible.
Yeah.
But
like,
it'd be good. It'd be. I do want them to continue to push this stables angle, and that be that almost their default. But spending weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks of Dynamite time as well, not just Dark time, Dynamite time on Jade Cargill getting scouted. They best do this with every fucking free agent that comes in. Anyway. Red Velvet versus Serena Deeb. I only really have one thing to say on this. I gave it a C+. A lot of people talk about Serena Deeb like being a really good wrestler, like not just a good women's wrestler, a good wrestler. But I got quite bored during this match. I did like the finish, but like halfway through, I'm like, ready for this to be over. What about you guys? What do you think on that?
I don't remember any highlights personally, but I wasn't bored at the time. I know that. It was one of those types of things.
Yeah.
Like, good work, but it's, at the same time, like, yeah, cool.
So we're basically saying it's like a grade C. It's a solid match, but it's not.
Yeah, but
it's not pulling out the punch.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, it's a grade C. But then, like, you go on Twitter and people are like Serena Deeb is fantastic wrestler, blah blah blah. I'm like, what am I missing? I thought I was the only one, but I feel like I'm missing something. I feel like she's supposed to be really good, and usually when people say that somebody's really good, I tend to have quite a strong opinion on that. And this one, I'm just like, she's all right, but it didn't blow me away.
Yeah, I mean, this is the first time seeing her outside of since when she obviously was in WWE that I've seen her.
Yeah.
Was she in TNA after that? I can't remember.
I don't know.
Probably.
Anyway, so this is the first time seeing her outside of that WWE mode. And to be honest, I didn't really see anything much of her in WWE at the time. So
no, a long time ago.
This was really my first introduction to like her wrestling.
Yeah.
It was okay. I like you say, they were there wrestling, but I think again it comes down to the case of who you're wrestling with.
That's fair.
Like you can be, one of the greats, and
but if you're wrestling someone who came straight out of your mama's kitchen, you can only get to a C. Yeah. I get that.
Yeah, you can only get to a C, and also if you're not put on someone else's program that regularly, that you're, you can draw attention and start to look, you're not going to gain interest, and they are just going to go, oh, it was a good match, but moving on. It's again comes back to the Matt Seidel thing of he's got all the talent and that, but unless he gets that one thing that's going to bring your attention and go, oh, here we go, this is a guy to watch, or this is a girl to watch in this case, you're not going to pay attention to, you're going to watch it, enjoy it at the time, but you're not going to be thinking, oh, this is the greatest match ever.
I actually had trouble following the match. Maybe I was distracted by something. I don't know, but
I think it was out with Your Mama's Kitchen
quite a lot of it as well.
Well, the Your Mama's Kitchen thing did distract me at the start, and I think we were talking a fair bit during the match. Yeah. Maybe that just threw me out of it, and maybe I'm being unfair, but yeah, my impression of it was, why is everyone talking about Serena Deeb being like the greatest wrestler of a generation? Maybe it's just Twitter being Twitter.
They're two people that also suffer from having too large a roster as well. Like Frosty said, you're only on every few weeks, and it's hard for people to learn about you really.
Yeah, and you don't want to put 9 hours a week into like AEW Dark, AEW Elevation. Yeah. I don't have time to sit through Dark. Dark's like 3 hours long, and it's just match. It's funny. There's like funny moments in it between Excalibur and Taz.
Yeah. But I'll just see those on Botchamania.
Yeah, exactly. I'll just watch 20 minutes Botchamania like once a month or whatever, however long they come out. And so we move on to Pac promo. Pac just basically goes, "Yo, I'm in this world title match, and actually I've kicked Kenny's ass before, and I'm gonna do it again, and I'm gonna take the title." Yeah. Good on him. I want him to. I kind of don't want him to because I love Kenny Omega so much, but I also wouldn't mind it. Like if Orange wins, it will be strange. If Pac wins, it will be like, oh, that's interesting. And if Kenny wins, it's like kind of what we expected, but not a bad thing.
Yeah.
I don't. There's no shit scenario here from the end of from this title match. When sometimes, when like the Big Show challenges for the world title, and you're like, I hope he doesn't fucking win.
Yeah.
There's nothing like that going on.
No.
Any thoughts on Pac?
No, I mean, I think Pac's great, and hands down probably one of the, or even the best current wrestler on the planet right now.
Wow.
That's for me. That's he is.
Yeah, no, it's fair. It's fair.
I love watching his matches. I'll just love his demeanor. Like he just, and like I say, the bastard. He is a bastard, and he just doesn't give a shit about what you think of him. So I'm looking forward to the match between the three of them. To be fair, like I want to see what Orange does as well. Even though I was a bit down on Orange at the beginning, I'm slowly warming to the idea of what I want to see what he does in the match. Do you know what I mean? So that type of thing. But if Pac wins, great for me, because I think it'd be fantastic. But because of Kenny, I'm not as big on Kenny as you are, so.
I got a history with Kenny. I've loved Kenny Omega for years now. So, but yeah, that's fair.
He is your man crush, essentially.
Oh yeah. Well, no, Ibushi's my man crush. What a hot! He's 39 today. Ibushi, can you believe it?
Really?
He looks like 25.
I was gonna say 39. Jesus.
He's 39. He just doesn't look anywhere near that.
He doesn't look a day older than he was in his first Ring of Honor appearance. That was like 2008 or whatever.
There's a famous clip from a few years ago, Frosty, of Kota Ibushi firing fireworks at his own. He stood on top of Ford Focus, Jimmy Havoc's Ford Focus, firing fireworks at his own chest, going outside of a Progress show in London. And just everyone's freaking out and loving it, and he's just firing fireworks at his own chest. So Kota Ibushi's very, very, very strange individual. We very much looking forward to you having a proper introduction to him.
Oh.
Then we have Austin Gunn versus Anthony Ogogo, the governor.
The governor.
Anthony Ogogo said a really cool line during, I think, this week. It was something along the lines of knock is by the order of the governor of AEW. It's just like, I can't remember the actual line now. I'm gonna botch it, but it was like fucking the kid can talk, like the guy can talk, and he also is believable in all the ways that you want someone who transitions from a combat sport to be believable. He doesn't. He's not hamming it up. He's not selling it short. It doesn't look like he's phoning it in. It doesn't look like he's having a good time like Mike Tyson does sometimes when he comes on a wrestling show. He just punches Austin Gunn really fucking hard. Austin Gunn, obviously there's some sort of gimmick, and he's bleeding from his mouth. And suddenly, you know, Cody looks like he's in trouble.
Yeah.
I
think Ogogo, that's his name, isn't it? He's got the benefit, obviously, coming from a boxing background. So you already know that he is a threat, like in terms of, because you know he's come from that background.
Yeah.
And I mean, like I say, like you said, the promo or what he said was, you know, it was good. It was, you know, it came across as genuine, which is good. You know, you want to see, you know, there's a lot of people that come in from different backgrounds, in terms of like, obviously combat sports and stuff. They can do what you ask them to in the ring to a degree, but they don't always transition well into the promo side of it.
Yeah, and I think he can. I think
he can.
Yeah. Based on the promo that he did, I can't remember if it was on Twitter. I can't remember if I saw it last night or the night before. Basically, is what I'm trying to say. If it was on some
I don't
sort
think
of
he did one
socials,
last night.
then it was on some sort of socials, but it was fucking good. It like it reminded me of, it was all of the kind of legitimate badass kind of things to say. It was like, called him a peroxide head, but he said he was going to knock his head off his shoulders, and he said that, I can't remember exactly, but it was fucking good. And I just remember being like, I hope Cody does the job. I really do. I don't think he will, because he's Cody fucking Rhodes, but
yeah,
I hope he does.
Yeah, the Triple H of AEW.
It's like, a year ago I would have said that was unfair. It's really starting to feel that way.
Yeah.
He feels like he exists in his own universe right now, outside of the rest of the show. Not in a good way. SCU do a little promo. We didn't really touch on the week before SCU got beaten by Young Bucks.
And they
split up, and it looks like CD's probably actually done.
Yeah, I imagine it. Yeah, I can't. I mean, he's got to be in his 50s now.
52, I think. 51, 52, something like that.
Saying that though, he looks in better shape than Sting, but
yeah, he is 10 years younger than Sting. To be fair, I don't think in 10 years I think CD will look about as bad as Sting does. The or if not worse, because he's got more mileage. He's head of their talent relations. If there's anybody who should probably like call it a day anyway, it's CD.
I remember him when he was in TNA, and they were talking about him retiring then. So the fact that he carried on, like well to this point, is surprising. Because didn't he have a back injury? Am I right? Or am I thinking of someone else? Didn't he have a
I think you're thinking of Jerry Lynn, aren't you? Jerry Lynn had a really bad back injury.
I just remember, but even so, I remember them talking about Daniels retiring back in TNA. So it's surprising that he continued to this far.
Yeah. Daniels was a veteran then. He was like 35 to 40 during that period of time. He's a good 10 years older than AJ. And if that puts it in perspective for you, he's 10 years older than AJ Styles. He's very much in the twilight of his career. Yeah. If he was hired, then I'm glad I got to watch the last match, and it wasn't in some bingo hall in front of 200 people.
I mean, it was a good match as well. It wasn't, it was entertaining. Because I think we touched upon this yesterday when we were watching it. And that, I mean, that spot where he gets super kicked and hits the ring post.
You think it happened hard way? I
think it happened hard way.
Maybe it was a mixture.
It's quite the difference.
Yeah, I couldn't tell. But I think I would have said blade myself, because it was just like bleeding everywhere, which doesn't really happen if you get bust open hard way.
Well, the only thing, the reason why I thought it was a hard way is because it was pretty much instant. The blood was pretty much pouring as soon as he hit. As soon as he hit it and then moved away, it was pouring. So there wasn't enough time to blade for me. So I thought maybe he's just caught it in a way where it has actually cut deep.
Maybe.
And it happens.
I mean, he's got a big fat black eye. So
yeah,
clearly there was a little slip somewhere along the way.
Yeah. From what I saw, it looked genuine in that, but I might be wrong. Like I say, if I am wrong, I hold my hands up. But it definitely looked.
The blood was so important to the match that it feels weird that would happen hard way. With the bleeding on the shoes and everything like that, it feels like that was something that was planned.
Yeah.
He went down with his he went down like this, which is like textbook blading stance. But then the bruise the next week, maybe it was legit. Maybe it was both.
Maybe we'll have to relook at it. Maybe they did have the intention of bleeding. It just didn't happen at the moment which they thought it was going to happen. I don't know. Like I say, it looked genuine to me, but
it did.
I mean, if it is a blade job, it's a well done blade job. I mean, it was better than
but if anybody's going to do a really good blade job, it'll be Christopher Daniels.
Yeah.
Been bald most of his career. That he has to know how to make a good blade job. Can't, because blade jobs on bald people look silly otherwise. So yeah, looks like he's done anyway. Sammy Guevara does a cards promo. I think this was during an ad break.
Yeah, they always do. Yeah, they always do it in ad break.
But Fight TV doesn't have ad breaks, so a little awkward. Just sit there in silence and with the cards going. But whatever. I like it as a gimmick usually. I don't like it as a standalone promo. It feels more natural when he's got an entrance, cards during the break, and then a match. But whatever.
I mean, you could have filled it with an interview or something. I don't know. There could have been something to fill it with. I don't know. It just seemed really weird to cut to that type of thing and that, because I don't know. It just didn't seem to fit for me. I know it's for them. It's something to fill up for, because obviously if they got advertisement on one thing and not on the other, then they need to put something there for the people who. But at the same time, they could have literally put anything there.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, and we'd already had a Pinnacle and a Inner Circle already, already confirmed they were going to do it, and then the cards thing just sort of says it again.
Yeah,
kind of strange.
Well, I mean, you could have had is it the Best Friends thing?
Yeah,
you could have had something with them, because you don't really hear much from them in terms of promos or anything like that. So
that's because their promos are so goofy.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. You could have had that there. I'm just saying that they could have had something there rather than something just coming out with. I don't know. I just don't like it. I know you guys
Chris Statlander booping. Orange Cassidy. Boop.
Yeah.
That would have been good. I would like that. Big fan of Chris Statlander.
Yeah.
After the break, Miro comes out looking menacing. I actually thought it was defending his title. He wasn't. He was just sort of stood there. The tights are amazing. He's got the trunks, and they say TNT champion on him, and it's just like, and it's all in the same style. It looks really cool.
I don't know why, but every time I see him when he comes out like that now with the red shot, like, you know, so I always get a vibe of like Street Fighter or something, a character from a game or something that pops into my head.
Max from Streets of Rage, I'd say.
Yeah, do you know I love it. I think it's I love the look and everything.
His look is very refined at this point.
Yeah,
and because his proportions are so, like, he's so thick. He does look like a video game character in that way as well.
Yeah. I just like the fact that he's not wearing the leopard print pants or anything like that. You know.
Yeah. Well, he looked like a bit too much like a fuckboy when he first came in. With the he had bleach blonde hair. He didn't have the sort of like slightly grey hair he has now. It was bleach blonde. He was straight off of his Twitch like boom, and it just didn't work. But now it works. Now Miro is like, I'm looking forward to this. And then Lance Archer came out with Jake the Snake, and we were watching with Kitty and Slug, and they were like, "Oh, the poor old man." I'm like, "That's Jake the Snake Roberts." Don't call him a poor old man. He's a dastardly heel.
Although he does look like the poor old man.
He does. Well, the fact that they're thinking that means that
it's time. Although it's probably helping him keep. You know, if he's there, it's helping him keep off the old stuff. Yeah.
I mean, Jake the Snake is like, can we like he's the sort of mind that you're thinking, are they going to try and bring him backstage like they do with Arn, where Arn is barely on TV, but or Jerry Lynn. Jerry Lynn is there every week. Jerry Lynn is helping build the show every week, but you never see him on television. Will Jake the Snake maybe move to a role a bit closer to that? Maybe he's already in a role like that. We don't know.
Well, it's the type of role you'd want him in, because I mean, how long? Since the 80s?
Yeah.
You know, he's generally, that's the type of person you want. You know, he's got the wealth.
He's done it all. He worked with Hogan. You know.
Yeah.
He's been.
It's a wealth of experience. Wealth of experience is what you want when you're making a show. Someone to tell you to pull you one side and go, "Sorry, mate, that's not going to work. This is how you tweak it to this. This will work." But what you're trying to do now, axe it. Yeah, and that's what you want.
But I mean, Lance Archer and Miro, they traded barbs. Miro definitely got the upper hand, but Lance didn't look like a punk.
Yeah, I love the fact he brought in the fact of like, you hide behind the old man and that, but I'll just it was good.
Yeah. It was good, and they're just fully divorcing Darby from the idea of the TNT Championship completely, which is good. AEW are very good at that. About when a champion loses a belt,
they move on. Basically,
they got to rebuild. They don't immediately get the response. The only time that they've even been close to a champion getting a response was when Mox and Kenny, immediately following Kenny winning the title, carried on feuding. But even then, Mox didn't get another championship match, and it made the most sense because it wasn't a destruction in the same way like Miro beating Darby clean.
Yeah.
It was a distraction, weapon, illegal finish, kind of dusty finish thing. But even then, the divorce and the previous title holder calling it an end and moving into something else. Very good.
Yeah. And it was because, like you say, Darby Allin's moving on to tag teaming with his dad against Scorpio Sky and the other one.
Ethan Page.
That's the one. Ethan Page.
All ego. Ethan Page. Tag team title match. The result was never in doubt. Let's be honest.
No, it was.
But it was a good match. Bucks look amazing. The Bucks they outshine everyone else in the tag division, and they make they make themselves look like idiots, but like in
Mm.
but crazy talented idiots. And then yeah, just they win. But Mox and Eddie came out again. They were like a thread that was running through the show, and they were the highlight of the show for me. Other than the Max Caster line. The actual match itself, I've just decent, like a sort of a B plus, decent match. Not world ending, not super fantastic, but but did its job. Gave the Young Bucks a match. They don't need a match next week now. They can be in a sort of promo bit with Mox and Eddie ahead of the match.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
are they facing each other at Double or Nothing?
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know who's going to win that. I really can't call it. Usually, I can give a pretty solid idea.
I think it'll be the Young Bucks. I'm not going to say anything, but
Bucks won the title at Full Gear, so it's been 6-ish months now, which is long enough for them to have had a good reign and then switch it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't work out who's actually going to win.
It's good.
I don't have like a gut feeling that Mox and Eddie are going to win, but they could.
I don't have a gut feeling that the Bucks are going to win, which I normally have. This is
AEW doesn't do DQ finishes either.
Not really, not for matches like this. There might be, but they don't tend to. Not for matches that you're paying for. Yeah. So there's they basically set the card up. So the card for Double or Nothing is Adam Page and Brian Cage. One-on-one. Adam Page trying to get his heat back. Whether he will or not, I don't know. The Casino Battle Royal, and the winner gets a title shot. We get the tag titles. We've got Stadium Stampede. We've got Inner Circle. Stadium Stampede.
sorry, are we writing this down and then doing?
No, because we've still got a whole other week. I'm just.
We're gonna wait to put.
I'm just sort of running it through and being like, in terms of we've got a women's title match, we've got a TNT title match, we've got the world title match. Am I missing anything? Oh yeah, Darby Allin and Sting versus Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky. I mean, pretty solid show, up and down. There's a pretty decent build so far. Anything you think needs a little fleshing out before next week? Personally, I think that the world title match needs a bit of heat between Pac and Kenny, which I think
Pac didn't really get anything this week. Just did he just like 30 seconds? Oh yeah, by the way, you're in.
He's in the match. Yeah.
I think. And the battle royal needs a few more entries confirmed. That would be the other thing I'd
Do they do
want.
Surprise entries?
Yes, yeah, they tend to do surprise entries.
So it's a bit like the Royal Rumble then.
Yeah, but they come out in packs. So it's a 21-person battle royal, and the hearts, the clubs, the spades, and the diamonds come out, and then
okay.
and then the Joker comes out at the end.
Right, okay. And then I'm guessing the Joker normally is someone of a surprising nature, maybe.
Yeah, who was the Joker? Was the Joker Matt Sydal last year? Do you remember, Simon?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, he came out and he was
Double or Nothing.
Yeah, they do it at Double or Nothing. Because the year before that
seemed way more recent. I thought his debut was a lot more recently than that, but
this year's gone crazy.
I tend to be bad with remembering when stuff actually happens. It's always further back than I think. So
the year before, Hangman was the Joker.
Yeah,
having had a match on the card already, and he won it that year. Yeah. So overall, I'd give the show sort of a sort of a B, like a good solid Dynamite, basically. The next week will be interesting with it being in a different time slot, whether they go all out and try and win some new fans who might not normally tune in on a Wednesday, or whether it's a little lower key because they assume they're going to have lower viewership.
I think they have to go all out on it and try and bring in new viewership and stuff like that. Especially with it changing on the day, that you have to bring people in, like to balance off the fact that some of the people who normally watch on a Wednesday won't be able to watch on a Friday. So you need to balance it off and actually make it one of the best go-home shows that you've got, especially as it's changed the day. So I think if they don't do that, then they're damaging their own product.
I'm looking forward to it either way. I think.
Oh no, I'm going to be watching. I'm going to enjoy what I'm going to be watching.
And next weekend, guys, the Double or Nothing is on Sunday night, and in Britain it's a Bank Holiday Monday. So blessedly, we can actually watch pay-per-view on a Sunday live if we want to.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm up for that.
So I think I'm going to do that too.
Yeah. Watch party.
Watch party in the Discord. Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, I think we as always we've gone a little over time, but I think we should set a special match for next week. We didn't have one this week because we were just sort of the week before we skipped, and the week before that neither of us could remember what we actually set. So let's think of something. Simon hasn't set one for us yet, I don't think.
Nope.
All right, go on, Simon.
I'll go with what I suggested last night. That you should watch the last year's Stadium Stampede.
Perfect. Watch party for that sometime this week in the Discord, and then we'll discuss it the first thing on next week's podcast. Next week's podcast time may change depending on when the Champions League final is, because I'm a Chelsea fan and I definitely want to watch the Champions League final. But we'll announce that in the Discord as well.
Okay.
Awesome. Any closing comments, guys?
Bring on the zombies.
Yeah, I'll put makeup on for $1 million.
I could see AEW mocking the zombie thing in this year's Stadium Stampede.
Oh,
that would be good. That would be good.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
I suppose my only closing statement really would be, Dwayne, don't forget what 10%.
Yeah. Good shout. Yeah. Despite the fact that it's clearly already been discussed, I think Frosty definitely owed it. All right then. Bye everyone.